Chris Kloc. I've been stalking you from a distance, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm living the dream one day at a time.
You are living the dream. So tell everybody where you're located.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. I feel like people may know where that is now, but it's about 2 hours. It's halfway in between Nashville and Atlanta. I mean, you go another hour and a half north of Knoxville, 2 hours from Huntsville, 2 hours from Birmingham. It's God's country.
It's indeed a beautiful area. What's the name of that big mountain right up there? What is it? Lookout Mountain?
Yeah, Lookout Mountain.
Yeah, just gorgeous drive up there. So I
Yeah.
I love that area. So are you native to there?
No, I'm not. I grew up right outside of DC, hence all. Nobody chooses to be a Redskin fan, but that's where I grew up, was right outside of DC, Northern Virginia.
Okay, nice. Roanoke?
No, northern, way north, like
Oh, northern,
Manassas,
northern.
Fairfax,
Okay,
Woodbridge, 20 miles outside of DC.
cool. So hey man, give us the lay of the land. Loan officer, branch manager, kind of tell us.
Loan officer. Maybe one day all the other things, but we don't worry about that piece. Just do the work now, and we'll see where it lands.
Cool. So I was talking with a mutual friend of ours, Jimmy. So Jimmy Reed, and he said, "Dude, you got to interview this guy." So hey, I need you to take off your humble hat. You and I met before at the sales event that you guys hosted. So I need you to take your sales hat off. Or, I'm sorry, take your humble hat off here just for a second, right? So why would Jimmy say, "Hey man, you got to interview this guy"?
Man, that's a good question. That's why you're good, Carl. You ask good questions. It's like Rogan out here. Um, I listen and implement immediately. And
Mm,
so I was outside the industry, wasn't making a lot of money, wasn't in sales, and I'm now closing a lot of loans and making a lot of money. And it's because Jim's told me what to do, and I do it, and all the other coaches I've had. And it's been really cool because I'm a coach now at next level, which is awesome. Like super it gives back so much. I mean, I just got off of two coaching calls and it impacts people's lives. Like I
mm,
know I help them make more money. And I'm probably a lot more like Jim than I am some of the others. I'm a little bit more lovingly militant, let's say, right? Like I
hmm.
care, but I'm like, hey, you're hiring me, right? Like you're paying to be coached. You're paying for accountability, so I'm gonna hold you accountable. And I want that same thing. Like
Hmm.
I played soccer in college, and I remember being benched. I started all freshman year, and I was recruited. I was like one of the big recruits, and it's not at some big school. You've never heard of it. It's Bryan College. It's in the middle of nowhere. But I was recruited, and by sophomore year, I sat the bench, and I sat the bench the rest of my career, and I
Hmm.
barely saw the field. But I always listened, and anything they said to implement, I implemented it. And I'd look back on that now, and like obviously that's so applicable in life and in
Hmm.
lending and all these other things and leadership. Like just listen to what the coach is telling you to do and implement. And I vividly remember a practice where we have all these players that are way better than me, and our coach wanted us to do this particular thing. And I remember I was the only one that did it. And I mean, I wasn't the most skilled, but I just worked. And like the working, the grit, all of that applies in this business. If you
Hmm.
have grit and you will grind, you will succeed.
One thing you hit upon, you're just a man after my own heart, is I have found the people that make all the money are the people that you hear an idea. There's a time that goes through where you hear an idea and then a period of time goes through and then you implement that idea. The people that make all the money are the people that eliminate the time between those two activities from the time you hear an idea. And it's got to be a proven, like it's not just an idea or a theory,
To
but
trust the source.
yeah, you see loan officer Debbie, she's doing X and she's closing, 18 loans for the month, and she shows you exactly how she does it, how
Mhm.
quickly you can follow her path, her step-by-step instructions. That's who makes all the money. So if you don't mind me asking, when you say closing a lot of loans, what does that look like to you?
I mean, I always want more, so I don't know. I pray through this to see if it's like, is it because I can and I'm destined to do this, or is it based on ego? Because obviously ego could be a piece of it, and like we all have to have a little bit of ego out here. Um, we closed 22 loans last month. We're on pace for about 60 million, maybe between 55 and 60, and maybe 175 units.
for the year, 165. Good for you, man. And when you say we, who's we?
I have several people on my team at this point. So I have a loan partner. I actually have one that's a team captain. That at this point she's been with me for 3 years, and she has sales skills. She can do consultations if I can't. She can be me when I'm gone. She just did a disclosure meeting today because my calendar was too full. So she helps me out, and I actually pay her a little bit of bips. So I mean, she's with me. We're tied together. And then I have the loan partner one on the front end that does all my application intake, takes every application over the phone, sets appointments, collects documents, make sure they show up. And then I have another loan partner two on the back end. So team captain and loan partner two take things from when they go under contract. They set disclosure meeting. They have the file set up. I meet with them for 10 to 15 minutes, make sure everybody feels good. Then they send out my Tuesday updates and they take everything from there. So more of like a contract to close.
Impressive. So some would say, well, what do you do then?
Ah, dang. Well, I have a job. Carl, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this, but I think about this and I look at this often. Everybody's got a job. Everybody has three jobs. And I'm not going to put this up here or anything, but I know my job is to generate leads, to do consultations, and to manage the team.
Hmm.
And when you don't have enough leads, then you do the contracts, you do the updates, you do all the other stuff. But once you get to a certain point, and let's say you're closing five, six loans a month consistently, you need to hire leverage. I mean, I don't have the book here right now because I'm reading it at home, but the Dan Martell Buy Back Your Time, it's a really good book.
Yeah.
My CEO has read that book like 4 times now
Hmm.
because it's constantly need to buy back time.
I had a great revelation and saw a massive uptick in my business when I had a guy a long time ago tell me, I told him, he said, so what do you do for a living, Carl? And I said, I'm a loan officer. He said, you're always going to struggle then until you re-identify yourself. I said, what do you mean? He said, and he was not in the industry, but he told me, said, it's not until you make the pivot and understand that you're a marketer of your services, that you're in a
Mhm.
marketing to your database business. You're not in the mortgage business. And by the marketing your database, to me, it was like past database, realtors, any kind of referral partners would be part of my database.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you've learned that lesson early on. So that's why you're closing 22 loans for the month. Where does most of that come in?
That was a heavy refi month because I went really hard when rates dropped. And once again, just the implementation piece. I think we both know Robin Lavasser. We were on a Friday coaching call and she said, do X. And, it was do a slide out of people, then send out a video. I just happened to have a beautiful baby girl. So I held the baby girl up as the marketing
Unfair
piece
advantage.
and
Unfair.
said,
I'm calling a foul. I'm calling.
I keep having kids. I keep having them every 2 years, so it's going to continuing to be unfair. So I held the baby up and I said, rate as the clocks are increasing, rates are dropping. And I had 22 leads on that Saturday when I sent that video out via email. Just bomb bomb. Took me a minute to do.
Wow.
So that was pretty heavy refi that month. It feels a little dirty because I'm not a refi person in general. Because I got into the industry in 2021. Like refis were gone by the time I'd closed 40 loans. But when we had several months this year that were between 15 and 19 that were heavy purchase based. So the majority of it's realtors. I'm leaning way more into being really intentional about asking for current client referral business and just the psychology behind setting us up in the consultation to tell them why I do things the way I do and that I don't advertise. They are my advertisement and talking to them about the reticular activator, what kind of car do you drive? You see Corollas everywhere. You're going to hear about home buying. Would it be crazy if I ask you at different points if there's anybody that we could help? Like I don't want to be a bother or anything, but I want to make sure I'm taking care of Johnny over here that referred us, and I mean, he needs more people to help,
Mm.
and it
Hey, so
works.
so you're 4 years in the business. Impressive, brother. I'm just telling you, that's
Thank you.
impressive. So most loan officers, and this is a statistical fact, most loan officers 4 years in the business have already tapped out, right? Most are in the business less than 4 years. What made you different?
I think I was just passionate about this is what I wanted to do, period. So just super briefly, I did door-to-door sales. I graduated in 2010. I did door-to-door sales for heart attack cancer policies for 2 months and I quit. And I'm not a quitter.
Hmm.
but my soul was gone doing that. It's not 1950. It's pretty hard to door knock, especially to try
Hmm.
to kind of deceptively get into somebody's house and sell them some insurance. Worked at a trucking company for 2 years, all logistics based. Worked at a really big insurance company as an underwriter for 7 years. Underwriting is all about putting garbage the sales rep gives you and turning it in, gift wrapping it, which very applicable to loans. And then I was a professional soccer referee for 5 years, all networking, ACC, SEC. They all are different assigners. You have to get in front of them. They have to trust you. They have to send you business, and you have to deliver over and over again. I was made for it. So I felt really convicted. It was actually kind of a spiritual conviction, to be honest. Um, was in 2020-ish, right before COVID started. I knew I was making about $60,000 a year before the refereeing piece at the insurance company. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, the parable of the talents kept coming to me. And this is not perfect, like it's not a
Hmm.
perfect analogy, and I know that. So any Bible scholars out there, I'm very aware. But I just kept being convicted that I was not using my talents properly. And I knew that I could be doing something different. And so I looked into five, six, seven, eight different things and pursued it. I've came across bigger pockets in the Burr method of investing, house hacking, listened to about 100 hours of YouTube stuff. I ended up reading the Burr book, and I found a house to go house hack in. And in 2021, there was a shift where the month that we were offering on a house, conventional, 5% down, duplex, they shifted it to 15%. And the deal blew up, and I couldn't do it. I asked a realtor, or I asked a friend that was in real estate. He referred me to a realtor who then now referred me to my branch manager. Went in, did a consultation. At the end of it, we both went to the bathroom. All great business takes place here. And I was, PG, standing at the urinal, and I said, "Hey, you guys trying to hire anybody?" And he said, "Yeah, who do you have in mind?" And I said, "Me, what are you talking about?" So we stayed there for 15 minutes and kind of bantered back. I was going to talk to you and yada, yada. I listened to I hadn't found you yet, actually, Carl. So it wasn't Mortgage Marketing. This is the Loan Officer podcast, and I found some other stuff, and I listened to all this stuff on the company and with Summit Funding. And there was a point I remember exactly. I was in Greensboro driving back. I was reffing at Duke in Carolina, and I was driving back that weekend. And I remember, and Todd Screama said, "Here are the 10 things that make a great loan officer," and he described me. And I sent it to my wife, and I said, "I found what I'm doing." And I sent
Hmm.
Clarence an email on Monday, and I said, I will ask you for sugar or cream. I don't care. Like, what do I need to do to get hired? And then I started April 21st of 2021.
Good for you, man. It's been just being it's been so long since I started. I've honestly I've forgotten what it feels like, and I'm not saying that to be funny, but
Yeah.
it's been a long time ago. Uh, what's been your biggest challenge? Like going from zero loans to 22 loans for the month, 175 for the year in very short order. What's been your biggest challenge? Like the first year or the first like getting off the launch pad, what was your biggest challenge?
Harmony. I think balance is kind of BS. Harmony. My
Tell me about
wife
that.
she's so supportive. She's not confrontational, and it's almost a bad thing at times because I'm so driven, and I convinced myself for a while it's for the family, and part of it was really for me, and it was
Hmm.
to build my empire. We
Hmm.
have plenty. If we made half of what we make, we're fine.
Hmm.
So that was hard, and I didn't really realize it until we were about a year and a half into the business, 2 years in, and my wife said, "Yeah, that first year and a half was super hard." Totally unaware,
Hmm.
oblivious, because I
Hmm.
was so focused. So, a lot of people would say for them in the first couple years, it was the grind. I loved it. I was
Hmm.
addicted to it. My dad's a grinder. He's in the business and he's a grinder. And I got him into the business a year after I'd started because I was so passionate. Like, "Dad, you would love this." And he does. So I had worked the two full-time jobs and all that type of stuff and I did all that and I like it. So that's the hard part is like, I'm probably have a work, some people are alcoholics. I think I'm a workaholic. So
Hmm.
finding a way, putting in all that effort, it works. Like you put in more hours, you put more hours in the gym and you see the results, and it's the same thing. So that was probably the issue that I struggled with that I didn't realize in the moment. Looking back on it, I definitely did. But
Mm.
I didn't have a problem going out and meeting people. They said go to open houses. I did it exactly how they said. I was working until midnight, 4 or 5 nights a week, every week, nonstop, cigar and an energy drink.
Yeah. So how'd you fix that?
Uh, I could have grown slower and then put the pieces in place, and I wanted to blow up and then put the pieces in place. So I started leveraging. I found a
Hmm.
great partner in Amber, and as the business can, and I learned loans. I didn't know loans. I was like financially literate enough, but I didn't really know loans. So I made some mistakes and had to fix fires and things like that. And the loan knowledge grew a ton. And on midnight, being on the back porch and stuff, that was me trying to figure out the loan.
Hmm.
I didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't sift quick. And now I can know, oh, here, bum, 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 this is what we need to do. So that's the event that we went to that Rene Rodriguez talked at. I don't remember the exact quote, but he said, pain and or suffering is the ticket to growth. And I thought about that a lot. And that's what it was. Like those back porches were me condensing I could use the 1,000 hours of learning and I could have done it over 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. And instead I did it in 6 months.
Hmm. Hmm. So if you were to do it over, anything you do different?
I don't think so. I don't know if maybe when I'm a little bit older and wiser, maybe I'll change my mind. But I don't know if I would because I passion sells.
Hmm.
There are people that know loans better than me now
Yeah.
and definitely did then. I would crush myself from a couple years ago. I would.
Hmm.
Way more strategic, understand sales way better, have learned from some of the best, listen to people like Jeremy Miner with tonality and how to say things and my consultations dialed in, all that stuff I didn't know, but I was super passionate. I don't think I would have been able to turn off the passion piece.
Hmm.
I think I would have maybe put somebody in my life that I respected a ton that capped that desire a little bit more just to help
Hmm.
me. Maybe they would have forced me to ask my wife more poignant questions where she would have actually told me the truth and not wait a year.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's the thing that would help.
Hmm. How do you bring most of your loans in? Like I heard you say it was this last, so of the 175 loans,
Mhm.
where did most of those come from?
Jimmy made me do this exercise. I think it was last year, and I thought it came from a certain place. I thought it. I did open houses, and open houses. I thought generated a ton of relationships, and it did. But as those relationships, some of them fall out, whatever.
Hmm.
The majority of mine were buddy introductions of some sort. So, open houses, I still have people. My first open house, I still work with that guy. First open house I ever did, I still work with them. We probably closed 20 loans together. Um, my wife's cousin, I helped get into the business. He did it himself, to be clear, but I was like, you'd be really good at this. So
Yeah.
got him into the business. I asked him to introduce me to this person, to this person. We have a new person that used to be my borrower who just started on Monday as a loan officer. He's in tech sales. He's going to be a killer. You're going to interview him soon. Um, Me calling past clients. Well, at this point, I didn't have past clients. I'm sorry. Calling my sphere of influence and
Yep.
literally saying, I got into the industry. Have you bought a house in the past 5 years? Who did you use? Who do you know? Will you do me a favor? Will you call and see if you can introduce me? And I don't even know if I knew the psychology behind that. I'm very aware now. A realtor will do a favor for a past client. I would. I have. I've met with insurance agents that I don't have time to meet with because my really good past client asked me to. So it's an obligation close and they'll do it all day long.
Hmm.
So a ton of the agents that I work with was that connection. And then it was working with them, asking them if they had anybody, consistent pop buys. I wasn't doing milk runs consistently. I am now, and they are so fruitful. But I was consistently
Wait,
going to a
wait. Tell me what a milk run is. Explain what that is.
A milk run, at least in my definition, is going to the same office/offices every single week, being consistent, literally making friends with the receptionist that's there, and then seeing where it goes, bringing value each time, developing a relationship. And then you end up presenting at their meetings. You end up, they're like, I like this guy. He's a hustler. And so they go tell this person. And I'm
Mhm.
chasing this agent that did 100 deals last year and he won't give me the time of day. I get into the car, he's knocking on my window and he said, Dara told me that I better meet you because you're never going to stop. So come in and meet me. That type of, it's just the consistency.
Mhm. One thing I have found, and I might have mentioned this on the last episode, is consistency out trumps talent 7 times out of 7. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. Yeah. Which goes into the thing that you talked about at the very beginning, the accountability that you're in accountability groups.
Hmm.
What does accountability look like to you?
Uh, Figuring out what future you wants
Mm,
and then having some outside source make sure that you do what future you wants.
mm,
Because what you're doing is when I'm going over what quote unquote homework will be, and we had this today, so it's very fresh on my mind. Nobody did their homework. And I just asked why. I'm like, guys, I know that we know that your pain point was X. You said to me in the beginning of the semester you wanted to meet 5 financial planners, and you've met one. We put the homework in place because we know that this will lead to X. You're going to get more business from it. You're going to all these things. We know that that's the case. So we need to do the sales math and dial it down. And you need to meet one every other week or what you haven't done it for several weeks. Now, I'm not the hard butt over here that's trying to slam the hammer down on you, but you told me you want this. Your future you wants this, your present you wants this, but the middle you is not doing anything to get the results. You're not just going to wish it into existence. So accountability for me is not, I don't want, probably a little bit more militant. I'm a little, like I said already, I'm a little bit more like Jimmy than I am I love people, but I love results too. And I want to be friends with everybody, but I also want you to succeed.
mm, hmm. I like that. Hey, let me ask you, what is I don't know if I've ever heard it put that way. What is your future? What is the future you want? Hey, Chris, what is your future you want? Like where? So you're
Mm,
so, how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
36.
All right, so here you're at 36. I'm not gonna we don't talk basis points here on the podcast because everybody's kind of different thing depending on how much the company
Mhm.
provide. So we use a standard number of $3,000 per closing. Some make two, some make 10, but we just use a number of 3,000. So at 175 loans, if I bring out Mr. Handy iPhone that has my calculator built inside of it, and if I was to type in 175 loans times $3,000
525.
would be 525. So here you are, 37 in that situation, making $525,000 for the year. Most people would say, well, and they'd be right in saying this. Well done, buddy. Well done, right? And I would tell you, dude, well done. So good for you, man.
Thank you.
Um, what's next?
Um, there's audacious goals, like crazy goals that are
Mhm.
almost silly. And then there's also ones that are super achievable easily, right? Like, we in coaching, we don't want our people to plan more than a 20% growth because it's kind of unrealistic in a lot of ways once you've been in the business for a little bit. So it's a 20% growth. That's a piece. That would put me within 2 years making $1 million W-2 from lending. There's leadership opportunities. So I'm a sales manager at our branch now, and we just acquired another branch. So there's that piece. In the future, I don't want this for power purposes. I want this for the ability to, I'd say influence, but that also seems kind of nefarious. I want to be able to impact people's lives. So there's probably some branch management opportunities. And I don't know how well you know Robin, but I want to be Robin of the East and
Mhm.
then see where that lands. Like, it's not crazy. I don't know if I want to put this on the internet, but if one day I'll be CEO of Summit Funding, I'm fine with that. I would love that
Mhm.
opportunity. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. I just want there to be growth and I want to step into opportunities that it seems almost unreasonable for me not to step into. I don't want to
Hmm.
force myself into it because I don't want to get involved in ego. I want to be where God's put me and go impact people.
Mm. So what do you have? So 20% growth next 2 years compounded in. Chris Kloc making $1 million W-2 income from lending. What do you have at $1 million that you don't at our hypothetical number we just did, which is probably somewhere in the ballpark of five, 600,000. So what do you have at 1 million that you don't have at 600,000?
I think it's maybe just it's more I'm not actually super money motivated per se. I'm goal and I'm like hyper competitive.
Mm,
So what's fun is it ends up turning into money, but my lifestyle doesn't change necessarily
hmm.
per se. I mean, it's more investing. It's, overfunding my life policy. It's, um, we're gonna 1031 exchange our first house into a condo down in Gulf Shores because my wife went there every other month because her dad was a president of a company there for 10 years. It's buying a cabin in Blue Ridge. I don't want this massive empire. The legacy is I want a condo at the beach and I'd like a cabin that's close here that's an hour and a half away because I love Blue Ridge, Tennessee, and I want to be the grandpa with the cabin. It's more that there's more influence. It's not necessarily a dollar amount per se because it's weird. I will work my tail off, and some days you make, some months you make, and these numbers are crazy, anyways. But you make 40 or you make 80. I work just as hard.
Hmm.
So the goal is just to continue to be more strategic.
Yeah. Good for you, man. What I yeah, good for you. By the way, I love Blue Ridge too.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
awesome.
yeah, it's a great area. You mentioned that you have kids every 2 years. So how many kids do you have, if
Yeah,
you don't mind me asking?
I have a 7-year-old boy, I have a 5-year-old boy, I have a 3-year-old boy, and I have a 3-month-old girl.
Good for you. So four.
Yep,
Wow.
chaos. Love
You
it.
know what's awesome though, man? So you're putting yourself in a situation, and we all come from different places, right? And it's all good. But you're putting yourself in a situation that student loans won't be something that'll burden your kids. And some say, hey, it builds character from them to do it their own. But I thought it was kind of nice. My kids graduated school with no student loans. That was a really good feeling. For my daughter, uh, she doesn't know of any of her friends that doesn't have a student loan other than herself. Like literally none of them. Yeah, she went to medical school, and she said all of her friends have are burdened with student loans, and some of them it's substantial. Like $500,000, 600,000. You go through undergraduate, then med school, and all that other stuff. And but boy, how'd you like to graduate school with a $500,000 debt staring you in the face, and to be able to provide for your family? And look, if that's the best we could do, hey, awesome, right? It's great, right? But being able to, I just love this career too, man. There's no, we set our own Christmas bonus. That our
Mm,
activity, nobody signs my paycheck but me. And that's
yeah.
for all of us. Even if we work for somebody else's company, we still write our own check by our activity. So good for you, man. Hey, so in wrapping this up, somebody might be listening to this and they're at, hey, I'm at 3 loans a month right now. Chris, what's the next thing I should do to go from three to six? Because you mentioned the 20. I like that thing you said about the 20% growth. But in the beginning, going from 3 to 6 is a 100% increase. And I'm sure you and I have both seen that happen in like 90 days.
Yeah.
So somebody at 3 loans, they want to go to six. What's the first thing you tell them to do?
Well, I think the overarching theme is activity breeds results, and you have to track your business. So, like, I have this, not that it was for this podcast or anything, but I have it in front of me. I have my greatness tracker. I am tracking my activity. Even now, I always track my activity. So I know, I think about it from a connection standpoint. Like, that's my perspective is how can I be most connective? And the least can, and this isn't perfect in order here, but the least connective thing is to throw something out on the internet for somebody to find, right? The next piece is maybe you send somebody, maybe there's a Facebook post, and then it's an email, and then it's a drop voicemail, and then it's maybe a text, and then it's a personalized text, and then you get to the point where it's a phone call, it's in person, and then it's in person break bread. So when I'm making my calls, the intentionality is to generate business and get in-person meetings. And hopefully there's some of them are break breads. And then hopefully as you 10x, you need to be doing things where you're going to have a bunch of them, right? So like for instance, I have a book club that I started. It's called Holy Smokes. We smoke cigars and we talk about theology every month. We meet at my house. I just so happen to have done loans for pretty much everybody in that group, and there's about 15 people. I now invite, if I find that I'm aligned with these realtors and they would be interested in that, I meet people and I'm like, dude, come to my book club. I have 4 or 5 realtors that are in that group. I'm able to connect with all of them, do that break bread piece, and then do something that's also impactful for me. So, I mean, I'm feeding a lot of the parts of me, the holistic me that needs that, right? I need my guide time. I need some cigars. I need to be connected. I need the spirituality piece. I need all of that. So tracking the activity is huge. And then the big piece that I think is really, really important is having somebody that will have accountability, that will give you that accountability. So I'm a huge proponent of coaching. I don't care who the coaching's with. I could care. I'm a huge proponent of coaching. And they're like, we have a sales test. So that's really helpful for me. I keep that on. I have a clipboard and I keep that. I keep my calendar. I keep my target list of people I'm going after. And I keep my particular sales test. And so the sales test will say things like go to 6 open houses a month, send 2 thank you notes a day, uh, generate 30 leads, have 5 break breads, make 20 outbound calls a day. Do at least one lunch and learn a month, listen to 2 podcasts about business, host a happy hour, send out a letter from the heart. All of those things are ways that you're going to be highly active. Jim talks about this all the time. Be highly active and highly visible
Mm.
because what is it? Better known beats better.
Mm. That reminds me. I know I've said this 100 times here on the podcast, or if I haven't, I should have. New York Times sells or produces a list each month called the bestseller list, right? New York Times bestseller list. Everybody writes a book, wants to be on the best on that. You notice it's called the best selling list, not the best
Mm.
written list.
Oh, that's good. So it's the
Isn't
best
that
marketing list almost.
yes, which is exactly what you're just saying though. So it falls into the case. So
Well,
it,
and then sales, one last thing. I think the sales math piece is really, really important. And so I know future me, right, to go back to that, I want more closings. In order to have more closings, I have to have more contracts. I have to have more pre-approvals. I have to have more referrals or meetings. I have to have more referrals. And where do the referrals come from? Referral sources. And it's not just realtors, but sometimes people get bored with the realtor piece. And I'm like, it's 80% of the business. Don't get bored with it. You can go
Mhm.
add other things. I have financial planners. I have other pieces I have BNI. I have, my outbound reach, like going and meeting at maybe a firefighter hall or something and try to generate my own business. But the majority of it should be from real estate agents. So if you
Mhm.
want more closings, you have to have more real estate agents and you can't buddy sell. You have to add value. You need to be focused on saving more time, bringing more joy, or making more money. And most of the time, it's making more money.
Mhm. Yeah, we just finished doing this thing. I'll go on that to another episode. Which, by the way, so well, it take us down a bunny trail. We'll have to do another episode. This has been fun. And you mentioned Robin a couple times. I believe so. As we're recording this today, I believe her podcast is dropping right before this one, and so
Well, that sucks. I'm going after her because
well,
she's a
yeah, yeah.
realtor.
Yeah, she's a very impressive lady. And if you want to have a little fun with her, right, you could tell her, "Hey, thanks for being my warm up band." Right. So
Hey,
yeah,
my goal is 683, and it's because she did 682.
yeah.
I'm gonna beat Robin.
Units for the year. Is that
Yeah,
what? Yeah, 6 8.
yep,
Very impressive lady for sure.
yeah.
It's yeah. If you're gonna model yourself after somebody or use somebody, I call it your rabbit. Everybody needs a rabbit.
Hmm.
Like in you have the rabbit.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody that you want to emulate. Uh, she's a great rabbit. She is.
Yeah.
She's a great. The problem with a rabbit like her though, she keeps pumping the numbers up, right? So she's not staying still. She's pumping the numbers up. So,
I don't care. The one, and maybe there's a lesson in that. You need somebody that's equal that you're going to beat, somebody that you're chasing a little bit, and then like the ultimate mecca. I think
yeah.
there's something to that. And I mean, honestly, part of the reason, and there's a lot of these people I respect. I mean, her business partner, and Dave Cameron's been my coach. He's incredible. He's a guy I want to emulate my life after. I think of those two in particular, Dave and Robin. Both of them have 4 or 5 kids. They've been married for 30 plus years. They built an incredible business. They
Mm,
love Jesus, and they're very philanthropic. And
mm,
like that's why I want to chase them because they have the
mm.
life that I hope to build towards and to
Yeah.
continue to grow towards.
Great people. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
stuff, man. Well, cool. Hey, is there something I should have asked you today I didn't?
Mm, no, you ask great questions, Carl.
Hey,
I
I
mean, you
got
know that.
I got one more question, man. I haven't used this one in a while. I love this question.
Okay.
So the president of the United States, whoever he or she is, okay, the president of the United States calls you and says, Chris, I need your help. What's he or she calling you for? Like,
To get the Washington Commanders name changed back to the Redskins. That's what they're calling me for. Uh, no, I think that's man, that's a really good question. I think I know what you're at. Like, what is the thing that I actually could help people with? Maybe the
yeah,
most impactful thing.
what's your superpower that the president's calling you for? Whoever he or she is.
I think that there's a grit piece, and I thought that everybody had that. I didn't realize it was as unique as it is. The grit piece is so unique, but I think just the wanting to learn. I never really thought I was that person, but this feels more like an applied science as opposed to reading a book and then answering something on the test. Like this is you get to apply it immediately, and so I'm not the perfect salesperson, and I never will be. We all won't be, but I've grown a ton in understanding the psychology behind sales way more than I mean, I came in just with passion. And now there's a passion that's paired with tactics.
Mm.
How to win friends and influence people is a great book. Jeremy Miner, he's a great person. I mean, shoot, my top realtor, his name's Asher Black. He's like a baller with that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
it's constantly just thinking to yourself, I've got to do something in unreasonable amount of time so that or insane amount of reps so that it would be
Mhm.
unreasonable for me not to be an expert. I mean, Hermosi talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
So I've met with 500 real estate agents. It would be crazy for me not to be really good in uncovering what's important to them and then showing them how I can deliver.
Just the fact of the numbers. You working the
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's nothing like learning than by just get out there and just doing it. So good for you, man.
Hmm.
Well, it's easy to see why you're closing 175 loans with a 4-year career. Impressive numbers. You're an impressive young man. So I'm sure Robin here's the hoof prints behind her. So
She knows I'm coming. She knows I'm
yeah,
coming.
good for you, man. Hey, thanks for being on here today.
Yeah. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate you.
All right, good stuff, Chris. Hey, one thing I heard Chris mention a lot on this episode is accountability, and we saw where he mapped out a step-by-step plan. And that's how he went from 4 years ago, had nothing going on as far as in the mortgage business. And now, closing 175 loans for the year. So just outstanding achievement. If any of this rings a bell for you, go, you know what? I wonder what that step-by-step plan is and what exactly does accountability look like? Right? A lot of people think accountability is a painful experience. I don't think it has to be that way. I think accountability with respect is a real thing. And if that's something that rings a bell with you, you want to have the look at some achieving better results by having a step-by-step plan, and then not just knowing how to do something, but the actual doing of it. You need some help with that. We'd like to talk to you a little bit. So if you go to getmoreloans.com, um, well, let's get on the horn and look at your step by step plan, and then perhaps if it's something that you're interested in, we could look at what would accountability look like, and what would happen if you finally do those things that we already know to be doing, and we find ourselves not doing it. What would it look like if we actually started doing those things with accountability, with respect? Accountability with respect. So anyway, that's my thing for the day. So getmoreloans.com. Thanks again, Chris. Great stuff. Looking forward to hearing more from you. Just an incredible leader. So appreciate it. If you're going to be chasing a rabbit, that's a good rabbit to be chasing. So, all right. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out with us here on the podcast. And we'll talk to you when we call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye bye.